In 1926, the United States Department of Agriculture published a bulletin about water glassing, a method to preserve fresh eggs for up to 12 months without a refrigerator, without electricity, and without any special equipment beyond a crock and a chemical you could pick up at any hardware store. Bulletin number 1508 was written for farm families, and it told them exactly how to do it. That bulletin existed. The government printed it, recommended it, and then somewhere around 1950, they stopped talking about it entirely. Pull up a chair. I want to show you what they forgot to keep telling you. The method is called water glassing. If you keep backyard hens, or if you're building a serious food storage pantry, this is one of the most practical preservation skills you can learn. It costs almost nothing. It requires almost no equipment, and it works. Here is the problem it solves. Hens lay well in the spring and summer. Long days, warm weather, plenty of forage. A good laying hen will give you an egg nearly every day from March through September, when they get 14 to 16 hours of daylight. Come October, when the days get short, production drops. By November, in a lot of flocks, it stops almost entirely. The hens are fine. They just need light to trigger laying, and the light is gone. Old-timers knew this cycle the way they knew the planting calendar. They planned for it. All summer long, while eggs were coming in faster than the family could eat them, they were banking the surplus, storing it away for the months when the hens went quiet. Water glassing was how they did it. The chemistry is simple, and it is worth understanding. An eggshell looks solid, but it is not. It has somewhere between 7,000 and 17,000 microscopic pores running through it. Those pores are there by design. A developing chick needs to exchange gases through the shell. But those same pores are why an egg ages. Oxygen comes in. Carbon dioxide goes out. Bacteria find their way through. Over days and weeks, the egg slowly changes. Sodium silicate, the active ingredient in water glass, seals those pores. When you submerge a fresh egg in a sodium silicate solution, the liquid wicks into every microscopic opening and hardens. The shell becomes, for practical purposes, airtight. The aging process stops. The egg sits in suspension for months on end, neither spoiling nor developing further. Some modern homesteaders use pickling lime or calcium hydroxide instead of sodium silicate. Both seal the pores effectively. Sodium silicate was the traditional USDA method. Lime is more widely available today at farm stores. The USDA, in that 1926 bulletin, called sodium silicate solution probably the most satisfactory material for preserving eggs in the home. That is not folk wisdom. That is the federal government's own food scientists writing it down in plain English. Now, there is one thing you have to understand before you try this, and it matters. This only works with unwashed eggs. Every egg a hen lays comes out of the nest with an invisible coating called the bloom, or the cuticle. It is a natural protein layer the hen applies as the egg passes through the oviduct, and its job is to seal the shell. The bloom is what makes a freshly laid egg safe to sit on a countertop for a week or two without going off. Commercial eggs do not have the bloom. The moment eggs enter a commercial facility, they are washed, required by USDA regulation, which strips it entirely. That is why store-bought eggs must be refrigerated and unwashed farm eggs do not. For water glassing to work, the bloom has to be intact. You are using sodium silicate to add a second, more permanent seal on top of the natural one. If the egg has been washed, the sodium silicate cannot do its job properly. When done correctly with unwashed eggs in proper ratios, this method is considered safe. The sealed environment prevents bacterial contamination. This means water glassing is a method for people who keep their own hens, or who have a direct relationship with a local farm where eggs come to them fresh and unwashed. If that is you, this method is yours to use. Here is how to do it. You will need a food-safe crock or a large glass jar with a wide mouth and a loose-fitting lid. Do not use metal. Sodium silicate is mildly alkaline and can react with metal containers over time. Sodium silicate is sold at hardware stores, farm supply stores, and online. It is sometimes labeled as water glass, sometimes as a concrete sealer. If you are buying it for food use, make sure you are getting a pure sodium silicate solution. No additives, no dyes, nothing else on the ingredient list. A quart of sodium silicate concentrate typically costs $4 to $6 and is enough to preserve several dozen eggs. The ratio is 1 part sodium silicate to 9 parts water. Mix it in your crock until fully combined. The solution will look like slightly cloudy water. Place your eggs in pointy end down. This keeps the yolk centered and the air cell at the top, which is the correct orientation for long storage. Make sure every egg is fully submerged. The solution needs to cover them by at least an inch. Put the lid on loosely, mark the date on the crock, and store it somewhere cool and dark. A root cellar is ideal. A cool basement corner will work. You are aiming for somewhere between 50 and 60 degrees Fahrenheit. The eggs will keep for 9 to 12 months. Quality is best in the first 6 to 9 months. After that, they remain usable, but the whites become slightly thinner and the flavor changes just a little. A few things worth knowing before you use them. Always crack a preserved egg into a bowl first, rather than directly into a pan or batter. 99 times out of 100 it will be fine, but cracking to a bowl first lets you check before it goes into your food. Do not hard-boil water-glassed eggs. Over months of storage, a small amount of gas can accumulate inside the shell, and hard boiling creates pressure with nowhere to go. The eggs can crack violently or burst in the pot. Frying, scrambling, poaching, soft boiling, all fine. Hard boiling is not. Rinse the egg well before you crack it. The sodium silicate solution leaves a faint residue on the shell that you do not want in your food. My grandmother used water glassing. Her mother used it before her. There was no gap in that chain of knowledge in our family, though I understand there was in most. The USDA stopped distributing Farmer's Bulletin 1508 sometime in the 1950s. By then, rural electrification had reached most of the country, refrigerators were in most homes, and the commercial egg industry had built out a refrigerated supply chain that made year-round eggs available at every grocery store. From an industry standpoint, there was no longer any reason to teach people how to preserve eggs at home. The knowledge did not get suppressed so much as it got set down. Nobody decided to hide it. They just stopped teaching it, stopped printing it, stopped passing it on, and a skill that farm families had used for 100 years quietly disappeared from most households in the span of one generation. The bulletin still exists. Scanned copies of USDA Farmer's Bulletin 1508 are sitting in agricultural archive libraries right now. You can find them online if you search. The instructions in it are essentially identical to what I just told you. They wrote it all down. They just stopped reminding people it was there. A crock, $9 worth of sodium silicate, and a summer's worth of surplus eggs is still all it takes.